Vibes are high in the nation's capital for some Sunday Gamebridge Super League action. Hope Heisey highlights a stalwart Spokane defense. They've gone 5 games without a goal conceded. But Loza Abera loves scoring goals with a proven track record regardless of how tall the wall is in front of her. Will she break the Zephyr clean streak, or is shutdown on the menu again? DC Power FC and Spokane Zephyr FC is coming up. Welcome to Washington, D.C., where Power FC play host to Zephyr FC for their second meeting of the season. We're here on Peacock. My name is Mark Schoenster. I'm joined by Brooke Kirchhoffer. We're here at Audi Field, and we're ready to get some action going here. First off, this is where the teams sit in the standings. Spokane Zephyr, a couple of games in hand benefits them, but they are amongst the top of the group. Meanwhile, DC Power trying to turn their fortunes here, and a great way to do that is at home, where they haven't had much success, Brooke. They're trying to get their first win of the season here, trying to get that monkey off their back.
They're going to have to do it on a quick turn after a Tuesday match, but they're optimistic that they have the game plan set to knock off one of the top teams in the standing. DC Power wants to play through the lines better and try and catch Spokane in transition with how many numbers they commit forward.
While talking about turnaround, it was a Tuesday loss against Sporting Jacks here at this same venue. But when they are looking to flip the script, one player they'll be turning to is Gianna Gorley.
A true 9 in every aspect of the game, an opportunistic player, the ability to finish those low percentage shots. But they would like to see her create more opportunities and shots for herself in a moment where her back is to the goal. Can she pass it off and then get herself in a position to then go and receive it again to score?
Well, it's going to be tough to score here today, of course, talking about Spokane. Combine that great defense with some good offense. 2 goals in their last game. That's a deadly combo.
Tori Zernberg goal here from Sophia Braun. A beautiful build, a team that is really playing connected from line to line. And when they commit those numbers forward, here you see, this is where it creates chaos for defenses here. As we see, it's an own goal. And they will walk out of that one with a 2-0 victory.
And it's a first victory for the new woman in charge at Spokane Zephyr. Look at the celebration for Nicole Lukic. Hey, she's inheriting a pretty good team here with a really good defense. Here's a look at some of the numbers. They speak for themselves, and although we could talk about how good they are, we've got one of the key contributors, Sarah McCoy, to give her thoughts on how the team is performing on that end of the ball.
Yeah, obviously we've had a good little stint here of clean sheets. I think we just know that if one of us gets beat, we have 4 others behind us. Got a great center back pairing in Reese Tappan. A lot of trust in our outside backs, and obviously hope between the pipes has been really good for us so far this year. So I think we just have a lot of trust within each other, and that's what helps us keep our pride so strong.
A lot of talent back there on the back line. I continue to refer to you guys in these matches I've called that you guys are just a wall in front of Hope Heisey, which we know how talented she is too. I know she's happy to have you guys in front of her, but you also welcome a new head coach in Nicole Lukic. What has the transition been like, and should we expect to see any changes coming up here soon?
Yeah, it's been great to have her. We've only been with her about a week now, so she started to implement a little bit of her style, but we're definitely excited for the rest of the season to see what she brings, because I just feel like we've got so much potential that we have yet to hit. So I don't know about big changes necessarily. I guess you guys will have to wait and see on that one, but yeah, we're really excited to have some good leadership and yeah, better direction throughout the rest of the season.
Still in the early stages with Lukic in charge, but it's been positive for Spokane in the odd set of the season. Will the good energy continue, or will DC take that positivity for themselves? Find out with us after this break on Peacock.
Caitlin Clark, amazing at assists. Gamebridge, the ultimate assist for your savings. But ever since they teamed up, she's taken assisting to a whole new level. Caitlin Clark, graded assists. Gamebridge, graded assists for your savings.
Prince Tires in the USL help soccer journeys everywhere to drive harder. From city playgrounds to suburban sidelines, from early mornings to late nights, from fun with friends to winner takes all, from the biggest fan to the biggest heart. And at every turn, Prince Tires will be there for the long haul.
Procession underway here in the Gamebridge Super League. A little bit of a way to tie up the end of the weekend across the league. DC Power FC and Spokane Zephyr FC doing battle. Here are your starting lineups. Brooke, take it away.
I'm excited to see how Loza Abera attacks this Spokane Zephyr back line, who has been a real tough nut to crack. How can she find the back of the net? We know she's creative and has a nose for goal on the attacking end. We'll see how it looks.
Meanwhile, on the other side of things, Spokane Zephyr, as you mentioned, a tough team to break down. And this is what they're offering. Pretty similar looks to what they've been operating with recently.
Yeah, no surprises here as we take a look at the lineup for the Spokane Zephyr. No changes from what it's looked like the last few weeks for them. Continue to try and feed Allie Cook and then get numbers with her as they get forward. So often she gets caught on an island. Can they continue to push the players up and around her on the wings?
Look, if it isn't broke, why are you not even try to fix it? I mean, 5 clean sheets in a row speaks for itself.
Absolutely.
Now it's just about continuing to find it in the back of the net, and you're going to get a lot of positive results. Our head official for today is Patricia McCracken. They will be in the standard referee yellow. The whistle is sounded, and we are off and running here from the nation's capital. Spokane and DC doing battle. Once again, we welcome you in here on Peacock. Mark Schoenster and Brooke Kirchhoff are with you. Excited to see how this one unfurls. Spokane Zephyr, game number 2 under the tutelage of their new head coach, Nicole Lukic. Meanwhile, it's still year number 1 for Omid Namazi. DC Power trying to find that first home win of the season. So certainly a lot to grasp at for both of these teams here. DC to start off with it. Bedoya will tap it back to Theoret. Bagley calls it back to Guiu. So chop over to the right-hand side for Susanna Fitch. Donning the captain's armband, as always, when she's in the lineup. Wonderful weather in DC. 74 degrees, partly cloudy. I mean, that's some pretty good weather to be playing soccer in.
And that was a really productive push forward there for DC Power on that last sequence, able to commit numbers forward. But again, we see why this back line has not conceded a goal in over a month. They have just been incredible in how they play, so organized too. They get numbers in and around the ball and pick their moments when to pounce, as we saw DC Power trying to figure out where's the open lane, and Spokane just shut everything down.
You're going to have to just keep knocking and hoping that eventually you find the cracks. Last time they were scored on was against Fort Lauderdale, which, I mean, that's a team that's going to try and find the back of the net. They're going to test you. But since then, they've blanked Lexington twice, which is quite the lofty achievement.
Their center backs are just playing with such confidence. You see, they're not afraid to play it out of the back there and take a couple extra touches if that's what it needs. And again, just goes back to, even though Spokane was playing with an interim head coach, the fact that this is such a connected group really speaks to the work they've done in the offseason.
Yeah, 450 straight minutes, bare minimum. they haven't conceded. September 6th was that last time that they conceded a goal, which that's over a month ago now, well over a month ago.
And when we were talking with their newly hired head coach, he said, look, it's a little bit of a false view of the standings because they have played 2-3 more matches than the rest of the table has. So as happy as Spokane is where they are right now in the standings, they know they've got a lot of work to do still.
And there is Nicole Lukic, hired last week. 3 training sessions before coaching that first game against Dallas Trinity.
Absolutely
able to get the victory.
Insane.
Yeah, it's wild.
I mean, the fact that she said September is really when it started to culminate, you're thinking maybe this is a couple months ago. And meanwhile, she's also has a full-time job with the USA Soccer and the coaching and scouting that she's doing for the U17 team, as she was telling us.
Yeah, one of the leads in the scout department, in charge of, well, keeping tabs on all the young talent in the country and who they need to be bringing in for camps for the U17 World Cup, which is currently happening right now in Morocco. That's where she was supposed to be at this point in time. Life comes at you fast. Meanwhile, Bedoya takes a shot, earns a glance, and Heisey will jump on top of it. Now for this home side, a 1-0 loss against Sporting Jacks on Tuesday. A game, though, that Hamid Namazi was pretty positive about. He felt that they were the better team. Sometimes, of course, in the sport, you don't get the result even if you play pretty well. And he said, look, you can compare the first game of the season, which was also against Sporting Jacks, to that one, and the transformation's clear. And they won the first time they played Sporting Jacks, so that just goes to show you early in the year, it's not always about getting the results as much as it is about laying the foundation and building up the style. They had higher possession numbers in this game, or this last game on Tuesday. They controlled the tempo, had more chances. Now they just got to put them away.
Yeah, he said the chances were there. We just have to avoid making mistakes defensively. When you're walking away from a loss, mostly positive, it's a good spot to be in. DC Power feels they're really close to putting it all together and getting a victory.
Here's Allie Cook over on the right channel. Cook lets it fly and ends up bending over top, and it did suffer a deflection, so it will be a corner kick for the visitors. Show of respect after the fact.
That was a tough foul there in the corner as we see Paige Almendarez fighting Allie Cook down to that line to cut it off. Really stout defending.
Almendarez, happy 28th birthday today.
On a beautiful day, it looks like, in DC. What a way to celebrate if they get their first win at home this season.
I'm sure that was her wish when if she had a cake this morning, probably not. A figurative cake. I don't think that follows the team diet.
Cake for breakfast is always acceptable.
Thomas's service is knocked away, but Spokane will continue to try to put that ball back into dangerous spots. They'll roll out harmlessly for a goal kick. They're able to translate the messaging pretty well despite just having 3 training sessions with the new coach going into last game. And Nicole Lukic said, look, 3 points and a clean sheet. Can't ask for much more, especially on such a short notice with the new person in charge. Of course, they've been in good form prior to that game. So it is a bit of an interesting situation, Spokane, because usually it's either the beginning of the year that a new head coach comes in, or things aren't going well and you've parted ways with the coach and you're bringing in someone new to try to right the ship. But, I mean, they're second place. Yes, some games in hand, but 5 clean sheets. You don't come across 5 clean sheets in a row by accident. So it's a bit of an interesting situation for a new coach to be stepping into.
She told us she wasn't going to set too many lofty goals at this point. Whenever the Gamebridge has a break in their season, she said that's when we will come back to the table and say, okay, what have we done in this first half? What do we do in the second half? What do we need to add or take away? The only goal being set right now is to get to the playoffs. Both teams in this one here today missed out on that last year. That's got to be a goal for both Spokane and DC this season.
Of course, a lot of kudos being thrown the way of Josh McAllister, the man who is interim, holding down the fort until they could find their permanent answer. Her goal right now is just to build relationships, make some slight tweaks here and there, and like you mentioned, wait for the winter break for any major movement. So I'm sure she's still trying to make sure she's got all the names down, let alone.
Absolutely, and that's those building relationships that really make the difference from when you talk about the culture you want to establish and who can I push on a little bit or what captains can I lean on. That's what she's trying to figure out right now is who are the vocal leaders. But she did get to know Hope Heisey just from watching her, saying she's really been the steady Eddie for this group. And when you can have that in a goalkeeper with a coaching change, it's huge.
I mean, a good goalkeeper can cover up some holes if, you know, there's any
Absolutely.
sort of just awkwardness in the transition. She's been so good this season. She was so good last season as well. Susanna Fitch roll it up further to Abera. Here's Omid Namazi, his first year in charge of DC Power FC. They're trying to just get this first home win out of the way. He says once you get that one, it'll flow more comfortably because then the stress is gone. You don't feel that anxiety in front of goal that, oh, we really need to get that first win so then we can just enjoy what is home field advantage.
Absolutely, as you said in the open, it's the monkey on their back right now. It's something that it just makes it the game bigger than it needs to be when you're looking at, you know, how do we want to approach Spokane? In the back of your mind, you're still thinking, we have not protected home yet. When you get that out of the way, then you can just focus in on the gameplay, but that is certainly an aspect that they have been thinking about.
A mental hurdle that just needs to be overcome.
Omid Namazi said too, with that, when they're in front of the goal, they need to not be nervous about missing. Try and create more, it's just all around. Once you find the back of the net at home, everything starts to kind of get rolling for you. It just takes that first one, then you start to see the rest to fall.
All the pieces are there. It's just about the congregation of them and it all clicking. And I hate to break the news to any team in this league, including the DC Power. There are no gimme games in the league this year.
Absolutely not.
So
absolutely not.
You can't just wait for a weak team to stroll in to get that first home win. You've got to do it against a team that's going to cause some problems. And of course, Spokane Zephyr are one of those teams.
It's really wide open. If you look at the standings and the records instead of the standings, any team can make a push.
Reese Tappan will knock this one back to Heisey. Now they get the ball up the pitch and out of their own corner. Appreciate you tuning in here. Been a weekend of Gamebridge Super League action. Extended weekend. There was a match on Thursday, going into 2 games yesterday. Lexington making a statement, winning 5-1 against Fort Lauderdale on Thursday. Carolina sent in the 2-1 victory yesterday, along with a 1-1 draw between the other 2 Florida clubs, Tampa Bay and Sporting Jacks. So going into the weekend, Spokane, we're at the top of the standings, and this one, with the goalkeeper away from her line, it ends up wide. That's a tricky moment there.
Gianna Gorley, you can never forget where she is at on the pitch. Here you see the pass backwards. We know that there's a lot of confidence with Spokane, but sometimes that will happen, is you get a bit too confident and you forget to keep your eyes in and around when you're passing out of the back, and that can happen when Gianna Gorley is on the pitch, as she is hunting all of those passes to try to intercept there.
Always locked in on where the ball's moving and when a moment of weakness is shown. And you know she'll be especially focused today because those moments of weakness probably won't be coming very often in this match, so you have to be ready when that opportunity arises.
She just has such a great read of the game. It's kind of one of those things, though, where Omid Namazi is like, as much as I love her engine, he still wants her to just be a little bit more patient in the build there. But as we see, she can be a serious threat on those missed passes back on the back line.
That was one of those situations where you have to be quick and take advantage, but in the grand scheme of things, patience a virtue you could practice on the pitch.
Try to tell any true 9 that, who is just hunting for those opportunities.
McCoy just looking to get that one back to where Abera knocks it out. Ali Cook rolls this one back to the middle of the pitch. Ron will roll it out wide, but instead it's picked up by DC. Power FC trying to push forward. We'll see if the flag stays down here or not. Ultimately, that question is irrelevant.
That started all the way back, though, with Madison Merman at the center back position. It's her second time getting the start on the back line there, and it's because of that step she makes to the attacking center mid that they are looking for DC Power. That grit and aggressiveness on the back line has been missing the last few matches. She was able to establish that in their last match out, and that's where Omid Namazi said she's going to continue starting in that role based on that aggressiveness.
And they know they need to be aggressive in this game. I mean, Namazi mentioning that the Spokane team is a team that's willing to play hard and are aggressive in their press, so I have to match that energy a little bit. And he also mentioned that the Spokane team is good in transition, so they have to be careful on that front, do a lot of things right. But last time these two teams met, it was a 2-2 draw, so talking about how good Spokane have been at not conceding goals, DC has already proven that they could score against this team this season. Now, both teams have gotten better since then, so obviously a team grows and evolves throughout the season, especially in the early stages. Abera pushing her way forward. Loza Abera rips it across, falls through. The connection won't go on target. Jada Bedoya trying to put it on frame after the great run.
And you see Jada Bedoya's head just fall. She recognizes just how big this opportunity was. That doesn't come that often where you've got an open net and nobody in front of you. If she just would have taken one touch, recognizing she had a little bit of space in front of her to be able to put that one on frame. Can't get that one back. That's where you see the frustration after.
So a moment gone to the wayside. Spokane will be enjoying that one didn't truly test Hope Heisey there. Game remains 0-0.
You don't often see Sarah McCoy get beat in those positions, so I think she was just caught a little bit out of position, having to extend to the wing side.
Doing well there is Morgan Aquino. First time we've had to say her name today. That will be a DC throw there.
See a bit of that physicality that DC Power was expecting to face in this match. The last time these two went head-to-head, it was a true back-and-forth battle. Surprising too that Lena Solano, we don't see her in the starting rotation these last few for Spokane. She was in charge of both of those netted goals with a brace in that tie against DC Power.
Well, never hurts to have some firepower off the bench.
Definitely gives you a little bit of a different look whenever she does check into the match.
As far as preparing for this game, you know, usually you're going to spend some time assessing your opponent and getting ready for what they have to offer. But right now, Spokane doesn't necessarily have the luxury of doing that given the transition of the new woman in charge in Nicole Lukic. Right now, their mission is just to get through some of these choppy first 3 weeks because she still has some commitments she has to fulfill after taking over the role. So she's been off and on with the team in person and obviously doing some remote communication in the process as they prepare for these games. And once she's there full time, they'll push for that international break, and then they can really get settled and find their groove. And then you get the winter break, which then, as we talked about, then you can make some real major implementations.
Right, they don't have a full bag of tricks right now that they can play with, but their standard is their consistency, and that's why they have had so much success.
Yeah, they have a pretty good rock to lean on at this point as far as what they've built so far this season. Well, this looks promising for Zierenberg. Tori Zierenberg, that's some excellent defending from Madison Mernon. Not only does she prevent the opportunity, but she earns the deflection off of Zierenberg, getting the goal kick.
Still fighting to earn that starting role. Again, just her second time starting for DC Power, recognizing that she has to be perfect if she wants to stay in this role. Great defending on that one, and what was a beautiful setup there from Allie Cook, that little flick on to give it to Zierenberg.
You want grit, she's got it, as you've already mentioned. Gorley traversing. Oh, how about that ball? Loza Abera gets by Heisey, but she loses the ball.
How unlucky there for Abera. Just one too many touches there in the box. You see she tries to take a step around Hope Heisey, and it gives her defense just enough time to get back there. As we see Sarah McCoy steps right in on that one. Incredible defense and the pace that McCoy has to get back.
I think that's an excellent demonstration for why this team has been tough to score on, because, I mean, look, you couldn't have blamed a player for seeing that situation and going, well, I hope the goalkeeper can handle it, but instead running back and making sure if the scenario arises that you can have an impact on the play, then you're there for it, and that's exactly what happened.
Got to keep an eye out for Gianna Gorley, who's just so creative in how she is able to deliver balls through.
Yeah, a dangerous pass through the middle.
Honestly,
on that play.
I think I asked Omid Namazi last time I covered them, I was like, does she have eyes on the back of her head? Because the way that she is able to have her back to where her forwards are running and still finds a way to play a really dangerous ball in for defenders to try and get onto.
Just incredibly high levels of awareness being displayed. But after 20 minutes, still 0-0 despite a couple of good opportunities for DC Power, some very clear opportunities. And that falls back to the home win jitters maybe a little bit here. Two very clear-cut chances for Abera and Jada Bedoya that have not been converted.
It's an unlucky run offside, but what DC Power said this week is that they wanted to establish that midfield presence. They've absolutely done that now, 21 minutes into this one.
And they are once again trying to churn here. Now's a pass once again from Gorley, looking to split the defenders. The door's shut though. McCoy up the pitch. Good find to Marissa Mart as Spokane will now bring it forward.
You and I talked about DC Power's shape and how it might benefit them to play with 2 9s. I think we're starting to see that now. If they can keep Abera high up there with Gorley, it could be a really dangerous look there for Spokane. I think if she stays just a couple of steps more forward, she's in position to receive those balls and to be able to challenge now, as we see Sarah McCoy and her will be dueling throughout this one.
Certainly been a highlight matchup to start this game. We'll see if that storyline persists as the minutes wear along. So far, so good for DC. The only thing that they can complain about, that the most important statistic isn't in their favor, which is the scoreline.
They've given themselves opportunities, though. And the last two, I know when they get to halftime, will be racking their brain. How did we not capitalize on those 2 opportunities in what was given space in the box on that first opportunity, and then the unneeded extra touch there by Loza Ibarra.
On the ball now, Sydney Cummings. She'll play it over to Fitch, two reliable players on this DC Power team. Fitch in particular, Omi Namazi described as a firecracker up and down the sideline. And he was unabashed when he said that she's an all-star in this league, Susanna Fitch.
And it's great to have her back too. She was out for a bit with injury. She does everything right, leads by example, just creates a ton of havoc for opponents. And according to Omi Namazi, if he could write out an all-star team, she'd be on it.
Fitch will roll up to Ibarra, but it ends up drifting across the touchline and out. Select, the official match ball supplier of the Gamebridge Super League and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Toss that Select ball back into play here as Spokane will be looking to generate some sort of response to the run of form in this game so far. Zierenberg just keeping that in play. Have to take some pressure, but it will be Spokane who will hold the ball for a moment. It's a bit wiry here, though. Good work there from Mernon as they'll continue to carry it forward. Gorley. Roll it out wide. Stepping in is Bedoya. Jada Bedoya takes a shot. Knocked away by Heisey.
It has just been a high quality possession rate from DC Power that's put them in these positions to get shots off in front of the box. The build-up has just been so beautiful. 79% in terms of passing accuracy on the season, and we're seeing a bit of that and able to break down Spokane, forcing Spokane now to chase a little bit. As we know, they've got that high press. How long will they be able to manage that with how DC is playing in and around them?
We'll have to see how they manage this set piece. It's played short. Bagley returns the favor. Could they be onto something here? Oh, it was smothered. Power FC reset. Fitch lost it up. Bagley keeps it in play. And they've got another corner kick.
Great awareness there from Bagley to stay onside, to head that ball back into contention to keep this one in, and it'll set up a corner kick.
Second one consecutively for the home side. It'll be Katrina Guiu to provide the service. Oh, it's loose by the box, cleared away.
Might have been some friendly fire there. Hope Heisey trying to punch that one out, and I think she made contact with one of her players there underneath the pile.
It's certainly been a holistic effort from Spokane to keep a goose egg on the scoreline for them. Both Heisey and defenders alike having to chip in where needed.
Heisey just doesn't have a pulse in those positions. Just does not get outside of herself on those situations. Stays so composed, even with that many numbers in and around her in the air.
Fitch trying to rip it in. Instead, it deflects away. Theoret. Goes over to Fitch. She'll loft it in once more. Headed towards goal, but not directly on it by Cummings.
What a ball. Tries to get that on the head of Sydney Cummings going up against her former team, and she was such an integral part of that 2-2 draw to get them back in it, scoring against her former teammate and Hope Heisey. Such an experienced player, vocal leader. Coach calls her right man. When you can have essentially an extension of the coaching staff out on the pitch, it's such a crucial point to have.
Yeah, someone who can help relay things on the pitch. Because, I mean, look, as a sport, you don't get a ton of chances to actually talk to your team once the game starts.
No timeouts, right. And we saw there was a lot of hydration breaks that this league was able to utilize at the beginning. No more. We are beyond that at this point.
Yeah, it's not blazing hot out anymore, so you're not going to get that. And so you got to leave it up to your players to make some of those adjustments during the game. All you get is halftime as a coach.
Well, we saw a pretty interesting thing. Sydney Cummins brought a piece of paper from Omen Namazi out onto the pitch at halftime, passed it around everybody, got it back, had it in her sock. It was actually a tactical change that they could communicate in secret against Spokane, not wanting them to hear it. And he said, we might have to go back to that at some point.
The classic paper technique.
It worked.
Just got to make sure no one tries to swipe at your sock and take it away.
Right.
So now for Spokane here, after having been bunkered in for a lot of this game, they still think there are other gears that they can hit on the offensive end. I think the risk-taking can be dialed up. Nicole Lukic said that it's there to take risks when you have this back line and this goalkeeper. They've made too many Hail Mary passes, as she's described it. And as you talked about, practicing patience, a big thing that they're looking for offensively, because it's not always the first window of opportunity that's going to give you your best option. Sometimes a pause, and then you're going to find even better looks.
Well, and it's a credit to what DC Power has done so far in this first half. They've really set the tempo and taken the game to Spokane, making Spokane play how they want them to play in front of them. And you see why. Spokane has yet to take a shot in the match. This one in total control by DC Power, which, understanding they were going to have to try and control the chaos that they have seen Spokane play with since they have faced them. They have only ratcheted that up, as we saw the own goal scored against Dallas Trinity was a reason for that chaos that they build in the box.
They might be able to generate something here. Pushing it forward, it's rolled over to the right-hand side. Tucker denied by Aquino. There's their first opportunity. But Morgan Aquino more than ready for it. DC Power trying to answer in the other direction. But a sign of life offensively for the visitors. I was about to say, it's a lot harder to be patient with your opportunities when you're not getting them, and so the moment you get one, you feel the
right.
pressure and the hurry to get it right.
As soon as you start to find those open lanes, you can just press at a different rate than what we have seen from Spokane. You're wondering when that next gear was going to get moving. I think when they start to find those open lanes and channels that they know are going to be available to them, that's when that gear can get pushed.
Fish couldn't quite keep that one in bounds. So here's a look at that opportunity again. Cam Tucker. And that was the right boot of Aquino that keeps that one from going through.
Cam Tucker is one of the fastest players in the Gamebridge Super League Two, and you got to see her in that moment there, bringing her in to add to Allie Cook. Whenever Spokane went back to the drawing board after last season, they knew they needed to build around her. Cam Tucker was one of those pickups.
Coming over from Spain, but has experience playing in the United States. Last was with the Utah Royals in the NWSL. At least last time she was playing in the United States, that is. Cook able to wrestle that one back for Spokane. It's Tucker once again with Zierenberg in the box. Well, how about that from Almendarez? Just a lockdown on that right-hand side when given the opportunity. So that'll be knocked out for a DC power throw. The Gamebridge Super League season is in full swing. Visit GamebridgeSuperLeague.com for all the latest information, analysis, and insight into all things Gamebridge Super League.
Almendarez is such a natural competitor too. We know that she had success last year with the Gamebridge Super League Championship, the first of its kind last season with the Tampa Bay Sun. She knows what it takes to win in this league.
Start rattling off the names that are on this roster for DC Power with Fitch, Cummings, Almendarez. They certainly have all the pieces. We've talked a lot about Gorley on the top side as well. The accuracy of the midfield.
And the chances have been there. It's again, as Omid Namazi said, it's that nervousness they have for some reason right now when they have a moment to strike.
It's the all-important final conclusion to the moments you generate.
As soon as you find one, you'd be surprised just how quickly that nervousness goes away and you can play a bit more freely there in the attacking space.
Long ball over the top requires a sliding intervention from McCoy. And you know in this game you're going to find avenues because Spokane are going to be an aggressive team defensively. They're going to come at you. As Abera keeps it in bounds, knocked away once more for a corner kick.
The Abera against McCoy duel that we have seen so far in this one. Everywhere Abera goes, McCoy just shadowing her. As you see, McCoy just gives her a bit of space and puts herself in a good position to knock that one away. Taking away the angle instead of going with her one-on-one and maybe opening yourself to get beat. Instead, she drops off, gives herself a good angle to defend it.
That's certainly been the popcorn fixture so far in this one, Abera versus McCoy. And now Katrina Guillot will look to whip in a proper service here. Played back into the area for Heisey to claim. So 10 minutes to go. DC Power FC with the majority of chances, but it remains 0-0.
23 final third entries so far for DC Power compared to just 14 for Spokane Zephyr. They are starting to find a way to get forward as we have seen in these last few minutes, but haven't been as dangerous as they would like to be in the attacking third. We know there's such a dangerous transition team too, that when Spokane is able to win it in those moments and get numbers forward quickly, that's how we have seen them just disrupt what the other defenses want to do.
And that can be so demoralizing too, when you sit there, you're knocking on the door, you're trying your best to unlock, and then suddenly you get scored on going the other direction. That can really, that could be a gut punch.
And you're looking around, how did it happen? That's
Yeah.
exactly what Spokane has been able to hang their hat on at the start of this Gamebridge season.
Namazi saying, when it comes to handling this press, you have to be pragmatic. It's about assessing your options, and if you're able to build from the back the way they want to, then by all means do it. But if the pressure is inviting you to play the ball over the top, then that's when you got to play it over top. But you have to be so quick in processing that information.
As we hear, there's no shortage of communication on the pitch for DC Power. They have to keep that level of communication up if they want to pounce in those moments, as you mentioned. Can you adjust in match to put yourself in a position to be aggressive in the attacking third?
Mart rolling that one ahead, hoping to find Cook. It won't connect. That'll be a throw in here for the visitors.
Alexis Theo, with a good spell there of defending. She's coming off an outstanding game last time out.
She's trying to get on the score sheet as well, Theoret. Had a couple opportunities in that last game. Smashed a couple from outside the 18, hoping to connect on one of those.
Omin Damasi said all she does during the week in practice is take long-range shots and is asking him, when is it going to be my turn? And she's hoping to have that here as they take on Spokane at home, still looking for that first home victory of the season.
When she inevitably connects, I imagine it's probably going to be up for goal of the week.
Has to be.
Cook with a turn. And the work that Allie Cook does there earns her team a corner kick. This will be the second corner kick of the evening, of the afternoon more so, for Spokane Zephyr. Here comes the service, played in and caught by Aquino.
You saw Allie Cook just a hair too early on that run in. She was right where she needed to be. That looked like a really good build-up there from Spokane off of that set piece.
Well, it's just been given back to the visiting side.
Just the timing, a touch off right now for the Spokane Zephyr. Once they get into that attacking third, can they figure out, okay, this is where I need to place it for Allie Cook to find success?
Jaskinek lays it out wide, and that's taking one for the team right there. Paige Almenduras straight to the stomach. That'll leave you gasping for air for a moment. Also ample time to tie your shoe if you're a head official. All right, well, let's see what they can do here from the throw-in. Jaskinek rolling it back. Braun playing it to the middle. It'll be tapped back by Euler. McCoy provides the service. And it ultimately will go to the wayside. You mentioned it earlier. It's been a bit of a whirlwind of a couple of weeks for Nicole Lukic taking over as the head coach for Spokane Zephyr. She was on a 5-day road trip with US Soccer when she received the offer to take the job. And obviously, when you want to make a big decision like that, she's separated from her family at that point in time, and you want to answer back pretty quickly when someone offers you a head coaching job. And so they were able to work it out, though. The family was on board with moving across the country to Washington, and she was able to have a proper send-off with her staff and the players in the youth national team ranks, while also being with the women's national team and hearing Emma Hayes speak. So, I mean, that seems like a great way to tie a bow on that chapter of your life.
And to add a little bit to your coaching notebook, she said she picked up a lot of things from Emma Hayes and the WNC staff in Atlanta, was able to see the game through a little bit of a different lens and how leaders want to improve US Soccer. And she said, so I'm excited to bring all of these ideas and all of the things that she learned to Spokane. She also didn't have her husband with her, and she said, you know, I kind of had to tell him, we're just moving. I hope you're good with it. You know, no,
Let's go.
They had to have a conversation on the phone, and she said, I wish I would have been able to have that in person, but her family has been so supportive of her in what has been a really monumental time now in her career, going from a scout who, as you mentioned, was supposed to be in Africa right now. So all of those travel plans thrown kind of into the rearview mirror, and now she's with Spokane trying to find a way. How do I build this club now, as she puts her stamp on it?
Bedoya moving it forward up against Haley Thomas. Jada Bedoya is able to get that one out. Now Guiu, good find over on the left-hand side. What can Power FC do here? Jada Bedoya steps by one defender, but that first touch was just a little loose. She was always chasing.
How about the pace from Hope Heisey off of her line, stepping out of her 6 with pace, as she recognized she didn't have a defender there on the front post, as McCoy was just a little far back, and Hope Heisey recognized that she had to go in that moment. That's why she's one of the best. First to 100 saves in the Gamebird Super League.
You gotta have a little bit of everything as a goalkeeper. It's not just about diving and punching shots away. You gotta be quick on your feet.
It's safe to say she's got a bit of an edge to her as well.
Oh yeah. Gorley in the shade over on the left channel. One-on-one with Tappan. That's a good find. Theorette trying to swerve her way inside. Here comes the service. Headed around in the penalty area. Tappan knocks it away.
It's a great effort, though, from Katrina Guiu, recognizing that she had an open lane to run into. Just couldn't find her head on that cross into the box.
Play will continue here. Cam Tucker slow to get up. Bagley rushing forward. Here's Gorley. The offside flag does inevitably rise up. But playing with fire here in the first half, Spokane. They've had to bunker down and just hang tight.
Saw new head coach Nicole Lukic getting out of her seat in that moment, trying to communicate with her group, and you wonder how that translates right now as she is trying to figure out the best language to use with her group, as they kind of have, you know, that chemistry now where it doesn't have to be the verbal communication. They can kind of give shape to, all right, this is where I want to be here, and here a couple of pointers from Hope Heisey, and then they go. Now you're adding a new coach to the mix, trying to be able to communicate with players on the pitch. It's got to be challenging just in your second week.
Could be the final chance of the half here as Cook squares it to Zierenberg. She slips it through. Jaskinek was making the run. Power FC were there for it. And the whistle will sound after 45 minutes. It remains scoreless here at Audi Field. Omid Namazi, his side certainly the better of the first 45 minutes, but the fact of the matter is it's still all square. No goals to show for the advantage that they were able to create, which means we are still at this 0-0 scoreline. Anyone's game to take going into the second half.
DC Power has really put the pressure on Hope Heisey in this first half, but she has just been the steady Eddie composed goalkeeper back there, as they have 7 shots in this first half. Spokane Zephyr only 1 shot, the one on target, but they are creating more and figuring out how they can piece apart DC Power, try to get them expansive and find those open lanes. I think they'll have a good game plan here after halftime with a new head coach who can see it from a different lens, communicate it now in the locker room, come back out and execute.
Yeah, let's see what kind of adjustments these two teams will make going into the second half. But while they're adjusting, we'll be talking some ball in a broader strokes during halftime here on Peacock. 0-0 your scoreline after 45 minutes. Let's see what comes up next here on Peacock. Stay with us here.
went to the beach, and it was totally worth it. Get double points this fall at Best Western.
What makes Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water unique? It's our commitment to making our bottles from at least 50% recycled plastic. In fact, Crystal Geyser is the only beverage company in the U.S. to exclusively own and operate 2 plastic recycling facilities. And you can help us make an impact too by always remembering to recycle your bottles. Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water. Simple, but not easy.
Success doesn't come easy. It takes grit, hustle, and relentless effort. Every step forward brings you closer to greatness. This is your moment. Elevate your game. El Jimador Spiked Bebidas.
Scoreless after 45 minutes between DC Power FC and Spokane Zephyr FC. So while we're waiting for the second half to start, the Cambridge Super League is introducing a new series called Be Here that dives into the stories and experiences of players around the league. Our first piece profiles Spokane Zephyr midfielder Sophia Braun and her experience on the Argentinian national team.
I started playing soccer from a really young age. I was just happy to be out there and kicking a ball around. I'm so grateful for soccer and my experiences there because it's really allowed me to reconnect, I think, with my mom's side of my family, and I've gotten to get to know family that I probably wouldn't have if it weren't for those international experiences. The World Cup was incredible. Like, I don't think there's enough words to describe how amazing it was. It was really special, I think, as well, coming off the men's team winning the World Cup and then kind of getting to see all the support just around the world for Argentina soccer was so special. It's definitely an experience I'll never forget. Scoring a goal was something I'll never forget. So the Copa America tournament was really special too. Just being able to represent my country and have my mom in the stands and be able to play in front of all those people and just being able to experience another culture and experience soccer in another culture has been so amazing for my game. I've just learned so much, and I think I'm able to take all those experiences on any team I'm at, and especially here in Spokane, which has been great.
Welcome back to halftime here in the nation's capital. Scoreless after 45 minutes, but there's still a lot of action to disseminate from the first 45 minutes. Mark Schoenster, Brooke Kirchhoffer with you here on Peacock. Let's take a look at all of the moments, the almost moments in this game up to this point.
Loza Ibarra has to want that one back here, as you see. Sets it up perfectly for her teammate on the left side and just can't send it home. But it was a good angle, too, from Hope Heisey as that one runs out.
There's the Ibarra again, yeah.
Loza Ibarra has just been all over the attacking third right now and has really put Sarah McCoy's defense to the test. That one-on-one matchup has been fun to watch. We see on the corner kick opportunity, Hope Heisey having to punch that one out, and she can go out of her 6 and know that that back is protected, as we see cleaning that one out of the box. But Spokane has made some moments here in the attacking third for themselves as Cam Tucker challenges on that one. One of the fastest players on the pitch, defended well by Morgan Aquino.
Now here are your halftime numbers, and for those of you that subscribe to XG, DC Power has .93 to Spokane Zephyr's .11. So that's one metric you could use to measure the success DC Power FC have had in this game. Obviously, you can look at all of these numbers as well, and there's some pretty good indicators that they could very well be up in this game, but Spokane has hung on tight.
Spokane is knocking on the door right now. They're starting to figure out how they can find the open channels and open lanes to play through against this DC Power team who has really defended, and when they are in their build-up on the attack, they are so compact and hard to figure out how to break down and have set the tempo. That's what they wanted to do at home today.
And the tempo has been set on the week. We've seen a lot of goals. This game hasn't quite found them just yet, but maybe that's less of a surprise when you know that Spokane are involved 5-1. Lexington, that's a statement victory against Fort Lauderdale. You got Ulmer, a Griffith Brace, Addie McCain, Catherine Berry, a lot of the usual suspects getting onto the score sheet in that one. And then Carolina Ascent starting to figure it out, getting some results together. Let's see if one of these teams can figure out 3 points in this one. We're going to step aside one more time when we come back. The second half kick is on the docket. Second half on the billing here from Audi Field. Both teams still have the opportunity to take this game for themselves here. 0-0 the scoreline as we enter the second half on Peacock. Mark Schoenster and Brooke Kirchhofer with you here on the broadcast. Let's see which of these teams come out the gates here in the second half and stamp their will on this game.
Remember, Spokane has remained unbeaten against DC Power. As we take a look at their two attacking players in Allie Cook and Gianna Gorley. Gianna Gorley walked out on the pitch pretty dejected here for halftime. We'll see if that frustration level will result in a goal, because we know just how frustrating it has been for them to try and find a way to win at home. And then for Allie Cook, she spent a lot of time with an assistant coach talking about game plans there on the side, showing her where her shape can be. We'll see if Allie Cook and Gianna Gorley change anything about the way they've played in this first half, now the second.
Abera to keep this one in bounds. And it looks like she chopped through the leg of Tappan there. The bulk of the opportunities going in favor of the home side. A couple of clear-cut chances they couldn't convert on, but as the half wore on, Spokane started to find some wiggle room to go forward, but at the end of the day, still nothing to separate these two. Abera turning. Nowhere to go with it, but she's traversing through white jerseys pretty well there, at least for a good stretch of time.
Abera, again, getting caught with a little too many touches there on the ball, but a really great step from the attacking center mid for DC Power to step and create that chance.
Free kick will be awarded to the home side, and we'll see what they can conjure up from this vantage point. It's a good distance from goal. There's our head official, Patricia McCracken. Didn't have to make too many decisions in that first half. For the most part, it's been a fairly cordial match. Giyu will roll it out to the left-hand side, but that was lacking a little pace. How about some pressure? That one applied by Arissa Mart. That ball over top for Zierenberg. I believe she was in an offside position, so she laid off. Gorley picks up the loose pieces. Excuse me, that's Bagley. Abera. She's offside here.
She didn't help sell it well, because as soon as she went, she turned her head to see where the linesman was and knew that that flag was coming up. Trying to maybe save herself a sprint there. You see Bagley plays it in. She already has her eye over there on the lines ref.
As you mentioned, you got to commit to it if you're going to try to take advantage of the opportunity, but you are right. You're not trying to make that sprint if it's
saving the energy, conserving, I guess, but has to just have a little bit more awareness on the front end, recognizing where the back line was, because she was skirting on and off on that last possession.
Tucker fishing for a corner kick, and she got it. Cam Tucker with the biggest chance of the game so far for Spokane. So another set piece opportunity for the visitors. Could be the first real moment here in the second half of action, just a couple minutes in. Service whipped it, punched away by Aquino. Thomas trying to maintain possession for her side, and she's successful in that endeavor. Zierenberg played too far ahead of Tucker. Seems like they weren't quite on the same page there. Tucker not making the run until after the pass was already leaving the boot of Zierenberg.
Unlucky there for Spokane Zephyr, who was really good about keeping themselves in a good position there on that last attack off the corner kick. Even though they lost it, they winning it back and keeping players in and around to be able to feed the ball back in. Unlucky for Zierenberg, just too much on that.
She'll try to keep this one in bounds on the other end now. Couldn't keep it in play though. Spokane off a 2-0 victory at home last weekend. Meanwhile, slightly quicker turnaround for DC Power FC, losing at home on Tuesday against Sporting Jacks. That results in some of the week's objectives just being focused on recovery and light workouts. They got into scouting out their opponent and preparing for the matchup on Friday. But as they say, the best ability is availability, so that's first things first in a week where you don't have as much space and time between games.
There you see Gianna Gorley. We were talking about that frustration at halftime. She really got to the races there as she saw Ibarra go ahead and take it forward one-on-one. Ibarra tried to play her a ball in, but wasn't at an angle that Guiu could get to.
This one trickles through to Cook. And a point to the penalty spot.
Wow.
It appears to have been a handball. And Spokane Zephyr with a huge opportunity to take the lead on the road.
What a moment here.
We saw
they're straight up and down going up against that one. The forward falls just because of an awkward position, but I could see why Oben Damazi looked a little bit confused.
It's a testy decision. And now Allie Cook has the opportunity one-on-one with Morgan Aquino. And Cook converts. Spokane take the advantage early on in the second half.
Add to that goal counter for Allie Cook with 3 goals now for Spokane when it mattered most. Take advantage of those opportunities. It wasn't a decisively shown foul there. It looked like that one might have just been shoulder-to-shoulder contact and one player fell down. Still, you take what's given. Spokane punishes with the PK.
Allie Cook, the 25-year-old striker, as you mentioned, gets her 3rd of the season. She was tied for the league lead in shots coming into the day, was tied with Ashlyn Puerta of Sporting Jacks. She has her 3rd of the season. And now you really wonder how DC Power will respond after that.
You talk about how this week was about rest and recovery. You hope enough was done. Coming off of a short week, having played a match on Wednesday, where is the energy level at? Where are the legs at in terms of, are they fresh at this point in the second half? We'll see how they can respond because they've got to tick it up in terms of the aggression here now as time winds down in the second. See, DC Power is 1-2-0 when conceding first this season.
So they have proven that they can bounce back, but this is a real tough team to do it against. Bedoya from the left channel. Plays it across the middle. And Heisey able to cover that one up and prevent any further danger.
Spokane hasn't conceded a goal in over a month. That's what DC is going up against right now.
Trying to tie a league record of 6 straight clean sheets. So needless to say, it is going to be a tall order to get back into this game for DC. So, first change of the match. Ellie Gilbert will sub on. And out goes Paige Almendares.
I think that's a fresh leg sub there, as we've seen. Paige Almendares has been really competing so far in this match. Try to get some fresh legs in here with Ellie Gilbert.
So the 22-year-old from Atlanta will step onto the pitch, and that's our first change for either side in this match.
She's got an interesting background too, a Hungarian Women's League champion, won an SEC championship at Georgia, knows what it takes in these big moments.
Tucker swerves it in, bounce back out to Zierenberg as Spokane, now that they have one goal, will look to see if they can pin Power FC in their own half. Try to further that frustration.
There's got to be run support for Gianna Gorley. She is doing so much to create, and while that's nice to have, you want your 9 to also have their own opportunities as well. And I think you were seeing that a bit with Loza Abera, but the two just not really able to connect with one another, and that might just be because they haven't been on the pitch at the same time.
Service sails over top as it falls back to Aquino. The Australian goalkeeper will get things going once again for her side. Bedoya trying to track back to get to the ball. But once again, Spokane taking over possession and certainly have an extra layer of confidence now. Game number 2 for Nicole Lukic in charge for Spokane Zephyr. Was last in charge of the scouting department for the U.S. Women's National Team from U14s to U23s. So not a person who is completely unfamiliar with the landscape of the Gamebridge Super League, though now having a different perspective on how she's watching these matches, because last year and this year, obviously, she was tuning in to scout out potential players that might need to be brought in for camps, and now you're looking at it more from the broad tactical perspective. But having that base knowledge of some of these players certainly doesn't help.
Just looking
certainly
at it from
helps, I should say.
Yeah, right. Looking at it from a different perspective, less of a tactics and things like that. She was very careful to stay away from any of that in our coach's call, but more from just a scouting perspective. But now, as a scout, I love the language she used with us. She's like, I'll figure out their player profiles, so she can round it out. A little bit of scout speak, as we like to call it. You don't hear a lot of coaches describing players from a player profile perspective here.
Yeah, I wonder how much she's about the numbers, or if she's more about that paragraph description, and has a nice little booklet with all the different players and their strengths, their weaknesses, the potential. Service launched in, caught by Heisey, and she'll quickly roll out the carpet for them to go forward.
What a ball in for DC Power. Gianna Gorley looked like she got a little bit of a knock on that one, was looking to the referee to maybe get a call. They'll get one here, and when they need it most, time to reset, get numbers forward into the opponent's half.
Once again, appreciate you all tuning in here on Peacock. A lovely afternoon in Washington, D.C., around mid-70 degrees. For those of you tuning in from Spokane, a little bit of an earlier kickoff than usual.
Brunch and soccer on a Sunday.
Ooh,
how about it?
That's perfect, though. Maybe get yourself a omelet with some hot sauce and watch some soccer as well.
That's right.
At least that's what I would be doing. Bedoya trying to shrug off some contact, and that'll glance wide for a corner.
What a great little combination play, too, to finally get it to Gorley. And you see she's starting to change her body language a little bit as she's getting better looks now in the box. This will set them up for a big corner kick here, but Gorley just has to stick with it. It's got to be frustrating right now, but try to find some level of patience and lock in for these big moments.
You just got to keep swinging that hammer. Eventually you're going to drive the nail through. Guiu takes a swing here. Abera will tap it out wide to the left-hand side. Gilbert, the substitute, trying to serve it in.
That's a tough angle there for Gilbert, too, to try to service it back. If she would have got her head around, she would have recognized that all the runners came back out, maybe play that around a bit differently, and now they'll get expansive through the back line.
Ball played up ahead as Mart tries to chase it down, but instead getting there first is Madison Mernon. 60 minutes through this one. Spokane finding a goal here in the second half. A penalty kick awarded to Allie Cook, who in turn converted, giving the visitors the lead. We're gonna get another corner kick here.
Thanks to Emma Jaskinek, having to run the length of the pitch on this one all the way from the back, and is able to put them in a good position.
So another set piece, a sixth corner kick for DC Power.
Yeah, excuse me, that was Susanna Fitch for DC Power running that one up the right side. There's that firecracker that Omid Namazi was talking about.
It'll be played short to Fitch. She'll tap it right back. Guiu sending it into the middle, but once again, it's met with denial.
He mentioned too that she can get up and down the right side. Maybe continue using Susanna Fitch here in that moment, because they have tried to get it to Loza Abera to try to build it up on that left side.
Cummings. That one, I think, just got scuffled as it left her boot. Looking to initiate an opportunity going forward. And maybe onto something here. Bedoya in the left channel. What can she do outside? Bedoya into the middle. Oh, what a dangerous intervention. That needed to be connected just right. And boy, was it.
What an unbelievable stop there from Sarah McCoy. Defensive MVP, arguably right now in the Gamebridge Super League.
Long ball over the top, headed forward once again. Jaskinek. More players now waiting in the wings for both sides here. Zierenberg will run it forward. Sliding it ahead. Is looking for Cook. Won't reach her.
That one needed just a bit more pace as Allie Cook was looking to get off to the races.
The first half in bulk belonged to DC Power FC. This second half has belonged to Spokane Zephyr up to this point. They've got the goal. They've done some poking and prodding, and now DC Power are trying to find their response. Bedoya sliding in the middle, and once again, a needed intervention and a well-executed intervention by Spokane.
Unbelievable defensive efforts that we have seen from Spokane Zephyr. Sarah McCoy providing that wall in front of Hope Heisey, who is a fabulous goalkeeper in her own right, and it just continues to be Spokane Zephyr's back line showing up when they need it most.
So we're gonna get a change here. Katie Duong will sub on for Loza Abera. Abera had a lot of promising moments earlier on in this game. She'll be hoping that player taking her place can generate similar opportunities. Guiu from the left corner flag. It's beyond everybody's reach for now. Can it be kept in bounds by Mernon? Feistily won back by Spokane. at least feistily cleared. That one falls down fortuitously. And Gorley's shot suffered a deflection.
What a moment for Gianna Gorley. Right place, right time, recognizing where the ball was headed. Might be a deflection, or teammate heads it back to her, and Katrina Guiu, and Gorley just unlucky on the finish.
Then some sustained pressure here for the home side. It's 1-0 in favor of the visitors. And the home side now trying to find an answer. Here's a look at the penalty kick that has provided the separation here, and it's certainly one that can raise some eyebrows.
Allie Cook picks her spot. Aquino also picks her spot. It's 50-50 on those moments. Aquino picked wrong, and Allie Cook sends it home. Her third goal so far this season. The work that she does in and around the attack, too, really goes unnoticed. Just so underrated as a high-pressing forward.
Zierenberg, the one who's on the grass, getting her right leg checked. Zierenberg up to this point in the season, 2 goals after she started the season with a knock. Bit of a delayed proper entry into the season.
She's been such a welcomed add. Can play anywhere in the front four. That's where, when we were talking with Josh McAllister as the interim head coach at that point, was really excited to bring her on. That explosive pace, clean on the ball, different dimension that she provides in the attacking third.
And her afternoon will come to a conclusion here as Ginger Fontenot will take her place. Fontenot, not particularly of the offensive prowess, so some shape adjusting certainly will be done here. And perhaps a signal of the objectives now for this Spokane team with just over 20 minutes left to go in this match. Next order of business, the corner kick. Fitch. That'll be another corner.
Dangerous. That one almost looks like a handball too, and not in a place you wanted in the box.
Oh, certainly not. Guiu from the right corner flag. Launches that one up, headed down by Cummings. And another corner kick incoming.
Unlucky there for Sydney Cummings, who has height. You want her there on that back post as that aerial presence. Emma Jaskinek just gets enough in front of her to throw that off.
It's been a barrage here as of late for the home side, but can they convert? Theoret, whip back into the middle.
I like that adjustment there from DC Power after a couple of failed attempts at corner. Why not go short corner and swing it out a different way?
Fontenot, the substitute, manages the situation well. Stay up to date with Gamebridge Super League. Sign up for the Super Newsletter. Get news about your favorite team and stories from around the league delivered directly to your inbox weekly. Sign up at GamebridgeSuperLeague.com/newsletter. So after withstanding a lot of pressure, Spokane will look to give themselves a moment to breathe here. Fontenot will relinquish throwing duties as Haley Thomas will saunter over to toss it in. Marissa Mart takes it to the corner. And what a successful venture that was. She knew someone was on her back.
DC Power had the numbers there in the corner to win that one back. Smart by Arissa Mart. Kind of have to bet on it that somebody's there, and that left foot comes around for Jada Bedoya.
That's some crafty work from the midfielder from Milwaukee. Maloney from the Orlando Pride. Now it'll be Sophia Braun. Ball whipped in and knocked away nicely. Second service. It's going Cook's way. So as DC Power have 20 more minutes to find a response. They're going to be hunting to find their moments through the lines, as you mentioned at the beginning of the game. Fontenot, though, getting the ball back for just a moment.
It's a great adjustment at halftime from Spokane, recognizing that DC Power was controlling the middle of the pitch. They have made that an area that is hard to play through so far in the second half.
The story here is we've got another player down, and we'll also get some personnel changes. We see Charlie Boone readying to sub on for Arissa Mart moments after her crafty escape. And then we mentioned Lena Solano earlier on in the game about being some firepower off the bench, and now she logs on for the goal scorer, Allie Cook.
Really dangerous threat in the air. We've seen Spokane have some opportunities on set pieces with 4 corners so far in this one. She's one you have to keep an eye on.
3 goals on the year for Lena Solano.
Actually, both goals scored last time they took on DC Power. Both were header. One was a header goal and one was a left foot goal. Two header goals so far on the season.
An aerial threat, Lena Solano, and now she's turning into that dangerous option off the bench that it gets the players who have been playing for the whole match, especially on the defensive end, to heave out a sigh and go, oh boy, now I got to deal with her. How about that ball through? Jaskinik lets it fly. She was looking to roof that one.
What a great ball in from Kelsey Euler to Jaskinik, who just can't quite, as that one's on the bounce, can't quite get her body up and over it as she's chasing that one down. A really dangerous look there for Spokane.
This one chased down by Charlie Boone, the recent substitute. And talk about some fiend defending, which ends up crossing a line. Cameron Tucker. Fiorette sending it up the pitch.
Just a bit of a disconnect there between the front 2 lines for DC Power. Got to be a level of deep detail to sharpen that up. But again, on a short week, it's so challenging to stay sharp.
But can they be sharp enough here? That ball whipped across, just over the head. It was Katrina Guillou who was waiting on the backside of Hope Heisey. That one looked like it went out of bounds, and it did.
Just a little bit too early there from Katrina Guillou on her run. Went in a little bit too early, needed to check up on that one. As you see, she was already almost into that 6-yard box. A great ball in though, a dangerous threat that DC Power can continue to go to threaten.
They've created the avenues in this game, DC Power. Same as they did last time out, as Fontenot makes the run forward. Fontenot squares it across! And Sydney Cummings doing away with that opportunity.
Great defense there from Sydney Cummings, having to sprint all the way back and is there just in time to cut off Lena Solano, her former teammate, recognizing what she is capable of doing.
So making her way all the way down to the right corner flag, Sophia Braun. You're tuned in at halftime, you got to learn a little more about. Continues to be a fixture with the Argentina national team. Gorley just knocks that one out of danger. There are 15 minutes left to go in this one. And the only thing separating these two sides is a penalty kick. Will that be the only goal in this game? Which would mean Spokane would tie the league record of 6 straight clean sheets. They have now gone over 500 minutes of game time without conceding a goal. As this one's chested down, but Guillou is offside.
It's got to be deja vu for Omid Namazi. He's been talking about how well they have played, been playing connected, playing through the lines a little bit better here today. It's just that they're not finishing off the chances. The chances and opportunities have been there for DC Power, not just today, previously as well. It's finishing that has been off.
And perhaps some new faces can help change that formula as Margie DeTrizio and Charlie Escort both sub into the game. It'll be Anna Bagley along with Katrina Guillou who will make way. I'd offer a correction here. It would be a new league record if they hit 6 straight clean sheets. It's already a tied record at 5.
Interesting quote here from Omid Namazi as Margie DeTrizio checks in. He called her the ideal player to elevate their front line. That's a pretty big standard now that she will look to meet as they look to equalize it against Spokane.
Where will they find that answer? Tap in with some pressure from Gorley. Rolled over to the left-hand side. Euler plays it up to Jaskinek. And you know, as the minutes wear away, the level of aggression and risk-taking from this DC Power FC team is only going to be dialed up further and further and further.
Well, they already have a 3-back line, so now do you maybe go with 3 forwards and keep them on Spokane's back line. Try to frustrate their back line that way by not giving them any space.
Gorley makes the run. Over in the right channel. One-on-one with Tappan. Gorley, patient. Gorley plays it into the middle, and it's escorted to Hope Heisey.
Really great effort there from Gianna Gorley. Unlucky that she didn't have numbers in and around her there to maybe try that and deflect that in.
Braun squares it, and now they'll push it up ahead as the aggression goes up for Power FC. The objective of playing keep away and running out this clock becomes more pertinent for the visitors. They might be onto something here.
That was
Intervention
great
there
work.
from Cummings.
Ellie Gilbert closing down that space and putting together the back and middle line there is huge as they're trying to commit more and more numbers forward for DC Power.
Mernon finds Cummings. She launches it up the field. Searching for Detrizio. Solano got her head on that one, but ends up going awry.
Not sure that's what she was looking to do there. Maybe trying to get a flick on and didn't get underneath it enough.
Detrizio cuts it up ahead.
Oh wow, what an opportunity here. And good field positioning for this free kick.
That was McCoy on Gianna Gorley. And we're gonna get a yellow card. That's our first booking of the match. So, we'll get the free kick. And Cameron Tucker gets her second yellow card of the season. Not the one who committed the foul, so perhaps some words being exchanged afterwards.
Just wanted a bit of a conversation after.
You always got to be careful if you're not a captain going and talking to the ref, because technically you're not supposed to now.
Right.
So many players make their claim throughout a game to a referee. All right, Katie Duong. What can she do from this spot? Still a very good distance from goal, so you're anticipating some sort of service, though she does have the option to square it across the middle. So what'll it be? It's Escort who's waiting there by the middle of the pitch. Duong rolls it shy, flicked into the middle. Not a bad design, nearly connected. Bedoya had 2 white jerseys in front of her.
That was set up so well. It looked like they were trying to get to Gianna Gorley on what would have been the second pass in off of that set piece. Just really good defending again from Spokane. Nothing we haven't seen this year from them.
So it'll be 2 more changes for Nicole Lukic. Cam Tucker, moments after getting the first booking of the match, will go out, and Madeline Desiano will take her place. Meanwhile, Felicia Knox will sub on for Sophia Braun. So off goes Braun and off goes Tucker. Hoping that it's a job well done for 6 more minutes. There's Desiano now to toss this one back in.
Well done there by Alexis Theoret. Just good ball shielding there to keep it in possession as they try to get forward now out of their own half.
Good effort to keep that one in play. Fontenot plays it into the middle. And Cummings doesn't clear it away, tried to dribble it out, and it's a bit lucky drawing the contact there because she was putting herself into a bad situation.
Taking another look at this one, Liana Solano gets it around and breaks it up. Sydney Cummings goes with force, and it pays off as Charlie Boone stood in her way as she's trying to get out of her own box and get forward.
Under 5 minutes of the 90 to go. The objective coming into this game for Power FC was to get their first home win. Right now, they're just hoping they can salvage a point. Duong to Fitch. Hold up to Escort. She'll persist. Fitch is there to back her up. Wind-up service looking to be sent inside with some pace to DeTrizio.
Unlucky for DC Power, just trying to clip a ball in and behind Spokane's back line. They're so disciplined, especially on teams that if it's not a direct ball in and behind and it floats a bit, the way they can adjust around it, and as a group, it's like one big rope and they're all pulling along on that string on the back line so well, all orchestrated by Hope Heisey.
Minutes to go. What does the urgency look like here for Power FC? You don't want to abandon everything when it comes to how you like to build up, but you know that it needs to be expedited. Theoret with some space to operate. She'll take her shot, and oh, Heisey. She had the time to bobble it, but still.
A lot of pace from Alexis Theoret, trying to take one from range, which according to her head coach is her specialty. She's been practicing those long range shots over and over and over, high volume striking from distance. She's just knocking on the door at this point.
Here's a look at that shot again.
Theoret just sets herself up in such a right position too to strike the ball in that way. You kind of saw Hope Heisey wasn't expecting that sort of pace to be on the ball. She has to bobble it.
She'll dive on this one after it's well boxed out by Kelsey Euler. Just a couple minutes away from making some league history.
You love to see the fight from DC Power despite what it looks like might be the final right now. DC Power has just hung tough this entire match, really putting the pressure on Spokane's backline at will, and they haven't cracked.
Bedoya, she'll have a go, and it's knocked down by Heisey.
We see another chance here for DC Power, trying to continue to test Hope Heisey, get her off her spot, and she's just where she needs to be every time.
they're just showing time and time again how tough it is to actually get one past them. Spokane. All rolled in. Played back to the top of the 18. And it just curls wide. Charlie Boone trying to get her first of the season and looking to put this one to bed.
What a look here for Charlie Boone. I don't think she expected to be in that position. You saw the quick change of pace, recognizing how far that ball traveled back across the box, giving her a really good angle.
5 more minutes tacked on. That's 5 minutes for the home side to hope and find an answer. They're trying to score a goal against a team that hasn't conceded one in now over 570 minutes of game action.
Wow. And 5 minutes, that's a sizable amount that DC Power can work with to try and tie this up.
Gorley, it trickles out wide for Fitch. There's a player down, play will go on though. Fitch with the cross in the middle, hits the side netting. Susanna Fitch making that run down the right-hand side.
It looks like Kelsey Euler just stepped wrong on that clearance. We hope she's okay as her teammates and trainer tend to her here. I think if you're DC Power, they have recognized that they can create opportunities off of these crosses into the box. Is there a way to be creative and change it now? Maybe with the combination plays in and around the box that we saw on that one set piece where it was a bit tricky off the left front side of that box where they were trying to get it to Gianna Gorley instead of just going straight at the net on that set piece. They've got a bit of bag of tricks to work with here.
Can they make the most of it? Will be the next question. So as you can imagine, as Kelsey Euler is getting tended to, time is continuing to tick along. So we're probably going to pass 95 minutes and get to that 96, 97 minute mark. So just a preemptive, don't be surprised if that whistle doesn't sound at the 95 slot as we previously were anticipating it would. Lovely afternoon, lovely activity. Come out and see some footy here. Watch some soccer, get some nachos.
Is that a bunny costume?
Yeah,
or
I
a
think
bunny
it is.
onesie? I'm about it. It's great. Apparently it comes to every home match for DC Power. Love it.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
See the next generation also getting a look at the Gamebridge Super League. It's so amazing to see just how women's soccer professionally has evolved with so many different ways now to grow the game, not just the NWSL level, now the Gamebridge Super League in its second season, and how players can transition from not just the college level where they might have thought their season ended there, can now extend in, and international players getting in on the Gamebridge as well.
Yeah, and also we're seeing players who are starting to play in this league without even going to college. I mean, we mentioned earlier, right now the U17 national team
the Academy players are incredible.
Sydney Schmidt from Sporting Jacks is started in their last game in Morocco for the U17. So the pipeline no longer is only through college. You can join one of these clubs and develop and grow and get professional opportunities. So here's the situation as Kelsey Euler is walked off the pitch. All the substitution windows have been utilized for Spokane, so they don't have another sub to utilize and use. So they're playing down a player until Euler, if she's able to, could get back onto the pitch. But that was a pretty extended period of time that Oiler was down, so it makes you wonder as this one falls through. The flag goes up. The opportunity would not have counted, but they were trying to find Atrizio.
You hate to see Kelsey Oiler go off in that much pain, but now it's set up DC Power for an opportunity to strike now. You couldn't have asked for a better position to be in as you're looking for an equalizer now to be going up against 10.
They're running through. Gorley gets there first. Gianna Gorley! She's put it through! DC Power FC have scored on the brick wall of Spokane.
Look at the elation in the money bag from Gianna Gorley. Yeah, that's right. Show it off, girl. You earned it. Gianna Gorley going and taking the money bag from the sideline. She has just been chomping at the bit. The effort that she has on this play. You talk about those low percentage shots. How about this one? Having to lay out, and she catches one of the best, if not the best, goalkeeper in this league. Hope Heisey has to run out on this one, and she skirts it right past her to equalize. Are you kidding me, Gianna Gorley?
Score the goal, get the bag. And now action resumes here as Gorley logs in her 4th goal of the season in dramatic style as Spokane tried to muster a response immediately.
And of course the stoppage time now that might be added for when Kelsey Oiler went off, this could be up for another 3-4 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, that was
depending
about
on how they look at it. Man, what momentum when you need it most that DC Power can play with now in these next few minutes.
I mentioned it earlier, over 570 minutes have been played. They've finally been scored on, and Power FC might be on for another here. Atrizio juggles, plays it to goal, parried off. It trickles again. Duong rolls it back. The ball's launched into the air, sails over to Atrizio's head, but she still has it. They're searching for something stunning, and it's headed towards goal, but off target for Gorley. She acknowledges the service. Couldn't be put on frame.
What do they say? When one follows, the rest seem to happen after that one, especially when you haven't been able to find the back of the net. Here we see just a level of angst that's built for DC Power, playing with a little bit more confidence now on the attacking end. It helps when you got another number up as well. Let's not forget Spokane playing with 10 right now to DC's 11.
Will they be afforded another chance? Escort through one defender. Play will still go on according to our head official, Patricia McCracken. Well, a captain play by Jaskinek. They'll go forward once more. Gilbert. A lot of room to operate. Gilbert. Out wide to Bedoya. Bedoya to the byline. Rolled too close to goal.
Unlucky there for Bedoya. A really smart touch to push that one forward. Is the rollover on the foot, defeating the defender. Just couldn't find somebody front post there.
Solano doing really well there with 2 jerseys in front of her. And the final whistle sounds, 1-1 your scoreline. DC Power FC able to salvage a point at home thanks to Gianna Gorley making the run. And for the first time in 5 matches, Spokane Zephyr have been scored on. It'll be a point apiece in a game that was a goal apiece.
Look, sometimes the match tells the story. Hope Heisey went right over to Gianna Gorley and congratulated her. As you see, a lot of these Spokane players game recognizing game. Gianna Gorley was so frustrated in this match because the opportunities were there. They just weren't able to send it home. They were so close. She could taste the goal, and she finally does. When it matters most at the end of this one, walking away with the draw. Of course, they wanted the first win at home, but what a confidence boost DC Power can now carry into their next match, riding the shoulders of Gianna Gorley.
Well, it's a great way to boost confidence because you're able to do something that 5 teams prior were unable to do, which was score a goal. We'll have post-game thoughts coming after this break on Peacock. We return to Audi Field for post-game coverage on Peacock. 1-1, your final score between DC Power FC and Spokane Zephyr FC. Mark Schoenster, Brooke Kirchhofer with you here on the show, and we are joined by the late game hero, Gianna Gorley, scoring in stoppage time. Gianna, we appreciate you hopping on with us, and I gotta ask you, y'all had a lot of chances throughout this game. You finally punched through at the end. How did that one feel to score?
It felt good to come back. I feel like we outplayed them in the first half, and we should have had 3 goals, 3-4 goals. So it's a tough tie, but happy that we at least came out with the point.
How long have you been waiting to celebrate with the money bag that you went and ran to, and whose idea was it to have it on the sideline?
Yeah, we've been holding that in our pocket for a minute. Beach, the guy that I chest bumped with, and he handed me the bag. He's called me G Money, and it's been from childhood as well. And he bought me the money bag, and he's like, "Let's save it for a special moment." And I felt like that was the right time. So,
yeah, you had the respect too of your opponent coming up and giving you credit. You don't get the win result that you wanted, but the momentum that you guys can now build off of. What can you take away from this match?
Yeah, I think we get better each game. I think, we've been having a hard time scoring lately and finishing out games as well on the defensive end. So I think this opens the floodgates hopefully a little bit, and we can continue to improve and put games away. I think we deserved the 3 points the last few games, and we haven't gotten that. So that's the main focus.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time, G Money. Congratulations on the goal, and best of luck in the rest of the season.
Thank you so much.
We're going to have to use that again in
That
future
was
broadcasts.
amazing.
G-Money, that's awesome. All right, here are the full-time highlights. There were a lot of moments in this game, and as Gianna Gorley mentioned, they had some great chances in the first half that they couldn't convert, so perhaps they were a little bit frustrated, and then that frustration billows even more. The penalty kick awarded to Allie Cook, which she's going to put away, and the tides turned at that point in the match.
Creating the chances has never been an issue for DC Power. It's finishing on them, and there we see Spokane capitalizing on what was a little bit of an iffy penalty kick call, but it doesn't matter. They take advantage of it and go up 1-0. And then it's off to the races again for Spokane. Emma Jaskinek, if she had just gotten a little bit closer to that ball as she's sprinting behind it as it's bouncing up, she was able to get her body over it. That would have been a dangerous strike. And then G-Money coming up big here. Spokane down by 1 player, and they take advantage of that number with Gianna Gorley finding the back of the net. Hope Heisey even giving her credit after that one.
You can see her smack the ground right after scoring. Just so pumped to find that goal that gets the money back and runs away with the point at the death of the game. 1-1 your final score. Here are your stats, and like she said, I mean, the edge goes to the home side, but look, you gotta convert the chances you get, and both teams were able to do that once in this game, so both will be walking away with a point.
You could feel the air come out of the pressured tire for Gianna Gorley when she was able to find the back of the net. That frustration was mounting for her, and then she was able to just lay it all out after that goal. They're creating the chances. Now it's just being a bit more clinical, as they have talked about all year. Build off of this final, though, getting a monumental goal at home. Gianna Gorley, we'll see if who can follow it up now for DC Power. They've got a ton of forwards with talent.
Spokane Zephyr on the other side, just coming up short on setting the league record in straight games with clean sheets, but this is where our show will end. And it's also going to be a little bit of a break before the next time we see you in the Super League. Next time will be October 30th when Spokane Zephyr play Carolina Ascent. But that is where this show will end for our entire broadcasting crew. For Brooke Kirchhoffel, I'm Mark Schoenster. Your final score 1-1 here. We thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.